But we do have our other story that I want to spend a few minutes on. I know we've been going for 45 minutes already, but there is one other crazy financially related story this week that we absolutely have to touch on. And that is regarding EA, Electronic Arts. They just went private. They were a publicly traded company. They just went private in a $55 billion deal headed by the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund, as well as Silver Lake, which is, I believe, it's that one. Not the other party involved is Affinity Partners. One of those is the president's son-in-law is involved in that. So, EA, they're going private, and the Saudis are the primary backers of this deal, financially speaking. So I'll give you the story real quick, and then we'll just give our reactions.
Sure.
EA has confirmed it has agreed to be acquired by an investor group composed of public investment fund, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners in a transaction valued at approximately $55 billion. It's the largest all-cash sponsor take private investment in history. Under the terms of the agreement, the group will acquire 100% of EA, with Saudi Arabia's public investment fund rolling over its existing 9.9% stake in the company. EA stockholders will receive $210 per share in cash. The per share purchase price represents a 25% premium to EA's unaffected share price of $168.32 at market close, and a premium to EA's unaffected all-time high of $179 at market close earlier this year. Following the close of the transaction, EA's common stock will no longer be listed on any public market. Andrew Wilson, EA chairman and CEO, said, quote, "Our creative and passionate teams at EA have delivered extraordinary experiences for hundreds of millions of fans, built some of the world's most iconic IP, and created significant value for our business. This moment is a powerful recognition of their remarkable work. Looking ahead, we will continue to push the boundaries of entertainment, sports, and technology, unlocking new opportunities. Together with our partners, we will create transformative experiences to inspire generations to come. I am more energized than ever about the future we are building." EA will continue to be led by Wilson and will remain headquartered right in the three of our neck of the woods here in the Bay Area. Redwood City is where EA is at. The transaction is expected to close in Q1 of fiscal year 2027, so not for a while, subject to regulatory and stockholder approvals. Combined, the deal is for an equity investment of approximately $36 billion and $20 billion of debt financing, fully and solely committed by JP Morgan Chase Bank, $18 billion of which is expected to be funded at close. Each of PIF, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners plan to fund the equity component of the financing entirely from capital under their respective control. And that's it. So EA, you've got Activision Blizzard acquired in a massive deal by Microsoft, and EA going private in a massive venture capital deal here. Michael, there's kind of a lot to unpack here.
Yeah. But there's a lot to unpack, but I mean, even like this is developing, and then the story will keep on developing. And these are variables and factors and things happening that are, a little bit beyond some of our scope. So it's going to take some time to process and like research what these things mean and, how this affects businesses. But essentially my top level thought is that EA is hustling backwards and have been for a very long time. And it's almost wild that, the point of having a company is to go public and, make your money that way. And then you kind of expand exponentially based off of your private success. So to go backwards is very curious, especially at this scale. And the people who are the groups that are acquiring them do not have a great reputation when it comes to the video game world. And, we're seeing a lot of Saudi investment in the FGC. I don't think we've fully seen what the implications of that are quite yet. But, we have a lot of international groups getting these developers, like we've seen with Embracers, like nothing good has come out of that. Again, FGC remains to be seen, but this is not. I think you're going to see it become, if EA wasn't already focused on just pumping out money and things like Ultimate Team and focused on profits over like the art form of games, not to be all like on your high horse about it, but like there's a lot of great franchises that had come out of EA or the development teams that are under EA. I don't think that EA is gonna, as publisher, is going to get like credit for how great the Mass Effect series was. That's what BioWare did. So when you think about Mass Effect 5 in the future, like where does that go? And like things like The Sims, what's the future of The Sims? And like, is it a case in which, hey, so long as you make money, we're gonna look the other way, and or you'll be fine. And if not, then you're like under hot water. I feel like there's a higher level of scrutiny when it comes to EA now, because one, they're going to be private and they're going to be owned by different people who have different expectations. So like maybe you're going to see even a bigger investment in something like EAFC, aka FIFA, and that Ultimate Team stuff, because that's the moneymaker. And in that market,
well, and
FC and FIFA are
the public investment fund is heavily invested in real life soccer / football as well. So there's sort of a natural overlap there.
In a way, I feel like I've seen companies I've worked for get acquired for specific brands that weren't ours, but we just happened to be shuffled into the mess because they had to buy it as a whole package. And in a way, my suspicion is almost like, hey, we want FIFA / FC, no matter what the cost, we'll take everything else with it, and then we'll figure all that stuff out. And of course, there are still high renowned brands that come with that, but I think that like this is the golden goose that they wanted. They wanted FC and to an extent Madden as well, because that also pumps out money in North America. So I think that those were the main reasons why they wanted to acquire EA. And I think you're going to see a lot more emphasis on the profitability of FC and Madden, and everything else is kind of up in the air, man. Like I'll be surprised if we even see Mass Effect 5 at this point. And like, that's an unfortunate thing to say. Like, I want a new Mass Effect. I want to see what BioWare can do. Some people feel some type of way about Veilguard one way or the other. But regardless, I want them to cook at least one more time with Mass Effect to see if they still got it. I don't know if we're going to even see that. So,
Miranda?
I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Private equity usually doesn't. I mean, I think there are a lot of big cases where private equity tends to be a net loss for people who are interested in the thing that gets purchased. I think the most recent story that impacted me, at least, is that Joanne got closed because private equity just like ran it into the ground. They're like, well, too bad. You guys are bankrupt.
No fabrics for you.
Yeah, and a lot of craft stuff. And it seems like, oh, it's fine. It's like, actually, there's a lot of people who are losing out on options for their really cool hobby and sometimes livelihood for these things. That is like a prominent supplier. And like sometimes seeing these things in person is really important. We're not going to get into that. But I think this whole thing that worries me is that you look at something cool like The Sims that has made, and I know we reference it specifically, we don't know what they're going to do, how much like interjection they're going to have, but based on the politics of things, The Sims is quite a progressive thing. It is immensely about inclusion, constantly working hard to make sure that all kinds of people of all walks of life are represented in this game. They do a lot with individual creators as well. And part of what I worry about is with certain investors that those creators too will want to step away from it because of the politics involved. And I get it that maybe a lot of our folks who are listening to this don't really care too much about that, but that is part of the reality. Is like there is a huge, massive audience for The Sims. There's a lot of people who play this, a lot of people who care. There's a lot of like influencers who are like huge and have like awesome communities. And like this is going to impact them potentially too.
There's a reason there's not been a Sims 5, is what, right, Miranda? The Sims 4 is just continually a moneymaker. It's continually successful.
Yeah, and that's why they've said they want to keep on with it. There's going to be another thing called Project Renee. Who knows if that's going to still happen? That was meant to be something a little bit different while they continue to support The Sims 4. But it is just generally concerning. And Michael said it exactly. It's like, what about BioWare? What about all these other plans that they have coming up? Like, how is this going to impact things? And when I look at that level of debt, I just, oh my goodness. I think that's where I look at. And that's my gut reaction is like, wow, this looks like it might be pretty terrible.
Yeah. And also jumping off of that, who knows what's going to happen to the number of jobs that exist under EA Studios and EA itself. And this does not spell a bright future for them. And even in this calendar year, EA has had a lot of layoffs, and we've talked about it time and again, and they've canceled projects, and things are not looking up. And you hate to see it. And sometimes the powers that be and the money that gets thrown around between these very, very rich investors, again, as we always say, who faces the consequences? It's everyone else on the ground level. So, it's gaming, politics, economics. It's all the same thing, man. You can't escape it. I'm sorry, but that's the reality that very directly impacts the games you play, how much you pay for them, and the ways in which you can engage with these services and platforms, man. Sorry, you can't separate them. That's just how it is.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Unlocked, IGN's weekly Xbox show. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to watch the full episode at youtube.com/IGN Games. New episodes of Unlocked drop every Thursday on IGN Games, IGN.com, and your favorite podcast platforms. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.